All right, it's time for another beer, rum, and rock and roll rock shot. This time, I'm going to review the latest album from Atlanta's Blackberry Smoke. It's called You Hear Georgia. It's their sixth studio album, produced by Dave Cobb, who's worked with Rival Sons, Chris Stapleton, Sturgill Simpson, Jason Isbell. You get the idea. This guy's dialed. And as you might guess from the title, it's a bit of a tribute to their home state of Georgia. The band's lineup consists of Charlie Starr on lead vocals and guitar, Richard Turner on bass and vocals, Britt Turner on drums, Paul Jackson on guitar and vocals, and Brandon Still on keyboards. Their debut album came out in 2003, and since then they've released 7 studio albums, 2 live albums, and 5 EPs. So these guys crank out albums on a pretty consistent basis. They've opened for the likes of the Zac Brown Band, ZZ Top, Lynyrd Skynyrd, Government Mule, and they headline their own gigs, of course, as well. Now, we haven't talked about this band on the show yet, and I've been really looking forward to it. I dig them a lot, but I will admit I was a bit late into getting into them for whatever reason. I mean, you come in when you come in, right? I'd seen their name around, in Classic Rock Magazine and this kind of stuff, but I didn't really check them out until 2018. I heard a track called Flesh and Bone off their last album, Find a Light. Big riff, cool vocals. It really rocked. And I was like, holy fuck, man, where have I been? These guys are awesome. So me being me, of course, I downloaded the entire back catalog and went for the deep dive, right? I mean, songs like Shaking Hands with the Holy Ghost, Waiting for the Thunder. They even get a nod from Greg Allman, who plays on a track called Free on the Wing off their 5th album, Like an Arrow. So these guys are getting it done. They're getting recognized, and there's a reason for that. What do they sound like? I find this tricky, of course, describing a band's sound. So I like to just compare them to other bands. So if you took a little Skynyrd, little Allman Brothers, add some Black Crowes and some Tom Petty, that gives you an idea, right? That gets you close. In fact, speaking of Tom Petty, they do an acoustic cover of You Got Lucky, which is really cool. You can see it on YouTube. You should go check that out. So what they essentially are a Southern country rock band, if you had to label it, right? I mean, their albums show up on the country charts and the rock charts. So they're living in those two worlds. And visually, probably like you're picturing, a lot of hair, a lot of long hair and beards, that kind of thing. They're just a killer band. I'd love to see them live. I don't have the notch yet, but I'm hoping to get it one day. Okay, man, let's talk about this new album. It's 10 tracks, recorded in Nashville at the famous RCA studio. Now, I know going in, unless they go right off the fucking rails, I'm going to like at least some of it, right? I mean, that's just how it is. If you like the band, you're going to like some of it anyway. They will lose me a little bit if they go too much down the country road, because I'm not a big country guy. I like old school country, like Waylon and Willie and Johnny Cash and that, of course, but that new country stuff, it's not for me. That's why I don't really dig their first album that much. Didn't rock as much as I wanted it to. They tended to get heavier and more rock as they went, right? The band sounds great on this album, of course. You got killer guitars, strong vocals from Charlie. The rhythm section is tight as hell, as you'd expect. And like I said, I just like when they lean on the heavier side. And on this album, I think they strike a good balance between the country and the rock. Tracks like the opener, Live It Down, funky riff, great vocals again from Charlie, big chorus, great start to the album. Another track I really liked was All Over the Road. It rocks, fast tempo rocker. This is what I dig from them. And I just wish this album had a little more of that. I mean, they aren't reinventing the wheel here. I'm just a sucker for that type of song and that type of sound. Warren Haynes makes an appearance, which was cool. Warren, of course, from Allman Brothers and Government Mule. He comes in and does guitar and vocals on a track called All Rise Again. Always a treat. He's just fucking amazing. If you don't know who Warren Haynes is, remedy that and check him out, because, yeah, he's just incredible. How could we know where it all goes? How did we all get here? When watch the wheel spin, this ain't how it ends. Be ready when we all rise again. There is, of course, some tasty, mellower stuff on the album, which is definitely worth a listen, but I just prefer the more rockin' stuff, right? Okay, man, let's get to the rating. Is this my favorite Blackberry Smoke album? No. Is it rock fucking solid though? Yes. I just wanted a couple more belters. That's all. I wanted them to rock a little bit harder. So I gave it 3.5 beers out of 5. Okay, guys, if you like Southern rock and you like that Black Crowes vibe, I encourage you to check this band out, man. You won't regret it. Sure, you might have to cherry pick the songs you like. Whatever. There'll be something in there that you're going to dig. Let me know what you guys think of this album in the comments. Love to hear from you. And until next time, keep rock alive. I'm out.